Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the week beginning the 30th of January through to the 3rd of February 2017. So let's see what the angels have to tell us about what we can expect this week. Now, I've said this before, so excuse me for repeating myself, but if you've never seen one of these readings before, the whole point of talking to angels is that they're not going to tell us what's going to happen because the future's in our hands. We've got free will, we make our own choices. So what they are giving us is kind of they're highlighting areas we need to address or things that we need to think about in order to move forward, to make good choices, and to let go of the stuff that's really holding us back. So let's see what the energy is sort of saying for us on Monday the 30th. Prosperity, money, yay. Who's not happy to hear about that? The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. So a couple of things come through. First of all, they're saying that some of you have blocks to receiving. Now, you might be thinking, who doesn't want more money? Like, who would block that? So it's something you do without meaning to. So sometimes this goes back to childhood. I don't know if you were ever like me. You might have grown up in a household where there was this constant message: there is not enough money. We don't have enough. This constant, there's not enough. This fear about running out, and not that those fears weren't valid, but when we focus on where the lack is, we just attract more lack. So in order to overcome that, we need to focus on what we do have, and to try and put our focus there. And that's what brings in more, being grateful for that, and to imagine having more. So Louise Hay does this thing, and this sounds a little bit naff, but every time she pays a bill, she expresses gratitude to the universe and to the company that she can pay them, and is very takes that as a moment for gratitude. That sounds a bit weird. You're losing money, but she doesn't focus on it like that. She focuses it on, this is a success because I am paying for something that I've received and that I am grateful for, and I have enough to do that. And that's another way, instead of being resentful every time you have to pay for something, that's another way of changing the energy around that, so that you're not seeing it as a loss, you're seeing it as a win. Because these sort of unconscious ideas we have about money actually work against us. So be careful that you're not using things like, I know we do this without meaning to. We say things like, I'm so broke, I haven't got enough money, or I can't afford to. And often when we say I can't afford to, we don't actually mean we can't afford to. We just mean I don't want to spend my money on that, or my money needs to go elsewhere right now. But be careful that you don't say things like that, because what you're saying to the universe is you're putting in an order to not be able to afford things. You're putting in an order for, I don't want money. I want to be poor. I don't want to have enough money. I want to be in this constant friction with my money where I never feel like I have enough. You don't want to be sending those kind of messages. So try and let go of those blocks. And receiving is also saying some of you struggle with receiving in a more general sense, in terms of, it could be receiving support. I've talked about this whenever the card giving and receiving comes through. Whenever there's a message about giving and receiving, I talk about this. Some of us are not open to letting people help us. We're not open to receiving love. We're not open to receiving compliments or support. It's the same with money. Some of us are putting out blocks to money because we think, I'm going to do it my way. My way, I'm going to follow this path. I'm going to keep doing this job that I hate because it earns me money, and yet I still don't have enough and I'm not happy. So it's about removing those blocks where we're closed off to certain blessings coming through, and to changes as well. So the other thing is not to focus on your boss or your employer, or if you're self-employed, your clients. Don't focus on them as being the source of your money. The universe is the source. All the money is coming from the universe. Though your clients or your employer, they're just channels. So try not to see yourself as beholden to them. Try and see yourself as in a transaction with the universe, where the universe continues to give you everything you need and will never stop to do so. So take a moment to express some gratitude to the universe, and remember that you will always have enough. You are always going to be looked after by the universe. You are not going to run out of money. So change your I don't have enough thinking to I have enough. I will always have enough, and I'm open to receiving more. because abundance is not, it doesn't have a limit on it. So now I'm not saying you should visualize yourself winning lotto, because that's not really what you need to thrive, although it sounds pretty good. But you should imagine there always being this constant flow of money, more than you need, which would be wonderful. So talk to Angels of Abundance if you need support with this, and just try to be aware that where your fear blocks are could be what is getting in the way for you. So that's Monday. Tuesday. Oh, that came through pretty quickly. Okay, so it's got an ocean image here, and it's about following your intuition, which sounds like such a boring message because it's one that comes through all the time, but it underpins just about every message there is. We're always getting the knowledge that we need through our intuition, but sometimes we question it because we're scared, or our brain is telling us something different, or everybody else is telling us something different. And so it's kind of saying your instincts are right. What you think about the situation is correct, even though it might not seem logical and it might seem to contradict someone else's ideas. So be very careful that you don't disregard that information right now. Now I just want to quickly talk about the ocean symbolism in here, because the illustration, they're telling me that that's significant to some of you. So the ocean symbolizes cleansing and stripping ourselves of what's weighing us down, easing away our blocks. This is the sort of stuff I do in Reiki, is clearing away bad energy and cleansing people with good energy. If you feel a call to go to the ocean, that may be helpful for you right now. Something I say all the time is, if you are really emotional, being around the ocean is a really great source of comfort and healing, because it kind of gets our emotions moving again, so where they're stuck and heavy. So as you know, the waves move, tide rolls in, tide rolls out. It's the same with our emotions. And of course we know that the ocean's controlled by the moon, and if you follow astrology or even have a basic level of it, you know that the moon kind of moves things all the time, and that's in terms of our cycles as women as well. So it's got a very powerful pull over us, and if you feel like you are stuck and there's not the movement there that you need, being around the ocean can really help. So looking at Wednesday now, 1st day of February. Balance, work, rest, and play. So your holiday probably seems like a distant memory now. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you probably didn't have one, but down here in the Southern Hemisphere, we tend to have quite a prolonged break over summer after Christmas. And it's usually that time that we remember, this is what it's like to be rested. Isn't it so great? And then you come back to work and it feels like a distant memory. So the angels want to remind you that obviously it's not realistic to be on holiday all the time, but you need to do a better job of having some rest in your day-to-day life and in your weeks, because your life is not about what happens on the weekend, it's about what happens all the time. So if your work is taking over completely, you're out of balance. And I personally don't think it's realistic to have a good balance. I think that's just, it's not normal. There's always going to be a little bit of stress or a lot and chaos. So the trick is, I think, is to try and get as close as we can to a balance. So just make sure we're not wildly out of sync. If you're working 80 hours a week, that is not healthy, that is not good, and you need to address it. Do not try and look at other people and go, but everybody's busy, this is normal. It's not normal, and it's not sustainable, and it's bad for your physical, mental, emotional health on every single level. So really, you need to be making more time for some play, whatever that means to you. It doesn't necessarily mean doing things that are wildly unhealthy for you. So you don't want to be going out and getting pissed every single night to counter your awful work schedule, which is completely out of sync. So you want to be addressing that balance with things like more fresh air, more time in nature, more time with friends, and not in front of a screen, more spontaneous play, more time with your kids, more time engaging with things that make you happy. Essentially, that's what play is. So, um, it feels like we're burdened by such responsibility, but we're not measured, our lives aren't measured by the amount of boxes that we tick on our to-do list or the amount of chores we fulfill. It's measured by how much we grow. And, you know, rest, sometimes it seems like rest doesn't fulfill that in any meaningful way, but it actually gives our lives meaning. And it's only when we rest that we can actually really hear our intuition solidly, and we can reconnect with our soul. So it's not a waste of time. It's a really valuable use of your time. Thursday now, the 2nd of February, divine order. This is something I talk about all the time. Everything is playing out exactly how it is supposed to. We can see our lives as being completely out of sorts and chaotic, and of course that's something that happens. It's not abnormal. However, try to understand that the universe has put things like this for a reason. It might be that that reason is to shake you out of where you're at and to spur you on to take some action, because it's usually when chaos happens that new things can be rebuilt, new systems, new ways of working, new ways of being in the world. And just understand that the universe has got a divine plan in place. So even though it feels like things aren't going right, they're exactly how they need to be, and they're not going to stay this way as well. So if there's an opportunity for you to make changes, make the changes. But and if you feel like you need to, but other than that, try and sit with how things are, and understand that the universe has got your back. I know I use it all the time. It's Gabby Bernstein, but it's so appropriate. Things it feels sometimes when life is really stressful and hardships are upon us, it feels like we've been abandoned by the angels and the universe. We're never abandoned. We're never alone. We're always being looked after. So things are how they need to be right now. Keep talking to your angels and keep asking for help, and just try to surrender to the madness and understand that things will change. And then maybe it'll make sense later on, maybe it won't. We do tend to say everything happens for a reason, but I feel like that's a bit of a cliche, because really horrible things can happen to people, and I don't think it makes them feel better saying everything happens for a reason. I personally wouldn't find that very satisfying when I'm grieving or chronically ill. So I try not to say that too much, but what that kind of expression means is that the universe is bringing about changes. So what you're going through right now is not your future necessarily. So it's very difficult to explain, because some of the huge challenges that happen to people are just, if we try to look for reasons, we're never going to find them, and it just would draw us back to a conclusion that the universe has been cruel and unkind, and I don't believe that's the case. I don't know how to explain when horrible things happen, but I do know that we might not never find the reason, so it's best not to look, but I do know that it will be okay in the end, and to try and surrender to that is sometimes just the best thing you can do, and just know that it will be okay. Oh, Friday, 3rd of February, self-acceptance. This one comes up a lot when I'm doing one-on-one private readings for clients who are struggling with body image and things like that, and self-worth. So pretty much everybody, that one. Everybody struggles with self-worth. So what it asks us to do is to understand that we are not lacking anything. You are not unworthy because overweight, or you're not unworthy because you haven't reached the job or the career success that you wanted. So try and accept yourself just as you are. Now that doesn't mean never changing, because change is how we grow. But it does mean the key to change is being accepting of yourself first, and loving yourself just as you are, and saying, I recognize all these things and now I want to grow. So it's not I hate myself and I've got to change everything. It's like I love myself, I'm worthy of change, and I'm going to expand. So it's going to and grow. It's not about trying to there's something completely wrong here and it needs to be completely rebuilt. It's more like um, it's difficult to explain, but the energy from the universe moves with you when you love yourself, and that's kind of gives you some momentum for making changes. So try to look where this card is gonna mean so many different things to so many different people, but try and look where are you beating yourself up at the moment? Where are you kind of punishing yourself? And I know punishing sounds like something quite dramatic, but I mean in small ways. Are you down on yourself because I don't know, it could be anything. Yeah, maybe you didn't get this particular job that you wanted. Are you down on yourself because your friends have bought a house and you don't own a house yet? Whatever it is, try and not to compare yourself first of all to other people, but try not to see yourself as lacking or incomplete, because you're not. This is really a message about understanding that you are complete in the eyes of the universe, and it's not always easy for us to recognize that ourselves, but as soon as we do, that's an enormous platform for growth and expansion. Um, I get this image when I tune into that of like, you know, when people are like charities are fundraising and they put a giant thermometer up and they paint each level as they earn more money. Um, and I get shown like the human heart going up and up and up. So the more kind of good thoughts and good energy that you put into yourself, you know, metaphorically speaking, um, the more you kind of go up and up and up. And then when you reach the top, you kind of expand more. It's like this love can just move out from your physical body and into your energy field, and that's when you start attracting more blessings as well. So the more that we give ourselves in terms of what we need, you know, rest for a start, um, kindness, tolerance, self-compassion. I didn't get what I wanted this time, but I'm still a good person. Not I have failed. Um, this situation has not worked out, but I'm still a good person and I tried my best and I'll try again tomorrow. Those sort of messages is really what it's about. The more you feed yourself that compassion, the more you can expand, and that's kind of how we go about making changes in our lives and growing and attracting more blessings and opportunities into our lives. So when I look at the week, there's not it's not really great plans here. We've got themes here. We've got abundance, so attracting more money. Love that message, so relevant. Trusting your intuition and really pushing forward with what you want to do. That's very much in tune with what we had most of last week. In fact, last week was just, I've never had such a consistent theme being drummed through as long as I've been doing these weekly readings. Get more rest and more play. So, yeah, I always think of the Mars bar commercial. I don't know if you had that where you're living in the world, but it's to be work, rest, and play. And that's really what this card's about. You need to be doing all three, and not too much of any one thing at the expense of the others. So divine order, trusting, just trusting that everything's playing out as it needs to. I just noticed here we've got the scales here, which is very much a Libra kind of thing here. So if you're a Libra, that might resonate with you in particular, because Libras love harmony and balance. So they're very much opposed to tension and conflict, and of course those are part of life. But I'm thinking that if those sorts of things are going on for you and that's really kind of hugely problematic for you, then maybe try and make peace with that and accept it and understand the scales will shift when they need to. Self-acceptance, caring about yourself, giving yourself what you need, and just accepting that you're exactly who you need to be right now, and you're doing a great job. You really are. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to post these on my social media. My Instagram is @OneGroundedAngel. My Facebook page is One Grounded Angel, and you can contact me via my blog, which is www.onegroundedangel.com. Again, thank you for your time and your support and all the lovely feedback I get. You're all wonderful, and I send you all my love and positive energy for a really satisfying and productive week. Take care.